Hi, my name's Shane from Astral Dragon Gaming, and this is my discussion about Blizzard's game release. Now, Blizzard's game release didn't hit the core for a lot of people. In fact, a lot of people actually truly hate the entire idea. And in some respects, that's a good idea, but in another respect, it's not a great idea. Now, the game I'm talking about, if none of you are aware of it, is a game that was announced at BlizzCon, which was Blizzard's new Diablo game, Diablo Immortal. Now, basically, the game is allowing you to play on a mobile platform, any mobile platform in the Android or iOS format, and basically you do it all with touch gesture and whatnot. This met with massive boos from the actual crowd at BlizzCon, who are predominantly PC players. But at the same time, I don't think it's as clear cut as everyone should really look at it in that respect. I think everyone should sort of calm down, step back for half a second, and refigure what they're actually looking at. Because the reality is, the writing's been on the wall for many years. But let's have a look backwards. So, Blizzard originally started themselves in 1991 as Chaos Studios. They released such games as Battle Chess 2, Rock and Roll Racing, Vikings, The Lost Vikings, Blackthorn, and a few other games. But it didn't change anything until 1994 when they released Warcraft, Orcs and Humans, a strategy game which basically changed the entire market massively. And as the years progressed, more and more games came out. Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3, and then came Diablo, which was a big step because this was a genre changing game, a game that made people look at it and go, wow, I love it. And then the subsequent sequels to that came out, the very rarely and not very well known Hellfire expansion for the first Diablo, and then Diablo 2, Lords of Chaos after that, then Diablo 3. And along with that, as the years were progressing, was Warcraft 2 and 3. And number 3 is probably the hallmark of the entire games because it gave rise to the new genre MOBA games, which is basically Dota 2 and League of Legends. Without Warcraft 3, these games would not have come to fruition. And of course, without LAN parties where people created the maps to play these kind of games, it would never happen. I played the original map of Dota, which is translated as Defense of the Ancients, and it was a massive battle. We played 5 hours flat, and we were still playing that, and no one was winning either side, and it was a massive battle. It was fantastic. There were great ones. There was Wolverine, Cyclops, Black Mages, all sorts of weird and wonderful character models to play in that game, and it was really extraordinary. And then you have other games that came along in the works, such as Heroes of the Storm, Hearthstone, Overwatch, all these games. And hey, let's look at World of Warcraft, probably the most influential massive multiplayer online role-playing game that ever came out. It beat EverQuest, it beat Fantasy Online, Final Fantasy Online, it beat everyone. And it has been the cause of some celebrities for disappearing for months on end. So, and then on top of that, you also have StarCraft. These are all games that Blizzard has produced, and this one game has made all the fans just hit the wall and just go, no! But why? The gaming market is an evolving gaming market. When I was a kid, when I was young, the gaming market was very hard to get into. And I lived in Australia, so I live in Australia still. So the gaming market is kind of hard to get into over here because it's all based in the States and Japan and places like that. Even Europe has a bigger sort of head in the game than Australia does. But that's not really the big issue here. But in Australia, when I was growing up as a kid, consoles were the 8 and 16-bit kind. And I had an Atari even, which was really posh at the time. And then your personal PC was like the god altar of things to actually have. And it was really hard to get. But that is not going to stay the same. It is changing. The gaming market is not just, oh, you only play on PC or you play on console. PC and console are so meshed at the moment. There are so many hard ways to actually pull them apart. Like, you take Microsoft's Xbox and a PC, and you can play both games across both platforms now, which is really kind of weird. And then mobile games. Mobile games have come so far in such a short amount of time. If you look back to the very first smartphone, and the best you could ever hope was something like Tetris or Snake or something like that, and then you look to now where there are full 3D games. I'm sorry, you can play Mortal Kombat X on a phone. Okay, it's got to be a flagship phone, but still, you can play a beat-em-up game on a phone, a mobile phone that was only ever designed as something to keep your notes and to call people. How the hell? So, back to the original discussion is, why are people so insanely over the top about mobile game of a franchise that, yes, was predominantly PC, but you have to look at the long term. Blizzard is a company that has evolved over the times. It has added more and more to its roster and grown its entire franchise. It's on the Switch now. One of the biggest mobile gaming formats that you can get at the moment. And why not move out to Android? Why not move out to iOS? Because this is where the new market is. A large proportion of people in the Asian market are all on a mobile phone to play a large proportion of the games. You only have to look at the Asian Android market for 5 minutes to see such a large plethora of these mobile games that are chalking up the numbers, not in the thousands, not in the hundreds, but in the millions of players online at one instant or another. So, why would Blizzard be stupid enough to say, we're just going to stay with PC forever? Because PC never dies. No, PC will never die because it's what you make everything on. It's what you can do everything on. But a mobile phone that's sitting in your pocket when you're stuck in the middle of nowhere, when you've got nothing better to do, and you go, I can churn about 6 or 7 hours out of Diablo on my new mobile phone that has a massive battery and really good ARM CPU and massive RAM. Alright, let's do it. Oh, I can match up with my friends. I'm sorry, mobile gaming is where the change of the entirety of the gaming will. You look at the newer kids nowadays, a large proportion of them actually touch any screen. I was at a shopping centre the other day, and both my youngest child and my oldest child both touched a screen to try and get information on where they were in the shopping centre. It was an LCD advertisement thing. Not a touchscreen, not an information booth, just a thing advertising some sort of fragrance or something. And I laughed. But that is what gaming's all about. It's this evolution of different people looking at it differently. Fortnite is on everything. And that is huge. And the other side of the argument here is that not only the evolution of the company, but it is the movement forward of how people play games. So, I think a lot of people need to pull their head in and think more logically rather than going, it has to be on a certain format. And if you don't want to play it, I'm sure there's more than enough people out there that are going to put it onto some format, somewhere, that you can just look at the lore and bang, you'll understand exactly what it is. So anyway, that's been my thoughts on Immortal. I think it is going to be a great sort of change to the actual gamescape, especially a major company like Blizzard. and I look forward to seeing what the result is. And I know not everyone else will, but that's not the point. The point is having my thoughts out there. So, other than that, I hope you've enjoyed what I've said about it. Hope you haven't cracked the shits about it, but if you had, please leave me a comment, give me a discussion about it, because I think this is something that should be discussed on a logical idea, not on a knee-jerk, oh, it's not going to work sort of thing. So, comments are down below. Give it a thumbs up, give it a thumbs down if you really hate me. I'm not something. Subscribe if you want to have another listen to what I have to say another time, and please make sure you hit that bell icon to make sure you're always up to date with everything I'm producing. I've been Shane from Astral Dragon Gaming, and I will see you another time. Bye.